Welcome to the MadTrio podcast. This week we have the California Pariah, Jonathan Charney, James, the Fat Man Stevens, and Rob, the old guy.
The world famous Rob Charney Show.
So just to get over what happened in the last couple of weeks, everybody under 30, who's Neil Young? Everyone ages 30 to 60 didn't realize Neil Young was still alive. Everyone 61 plus. What's Spotify?
Yeah, that's about right. It's a good spot.
So that pretty much summarizes the last week in the news. Now you don't have to watch whatever news source you get information from. So now you can listen to this podcast, which is obviously better than anything you're listening to.
All right. I don't really give a shit about Spotify, honestly.
I like Spotify, honestly, because it's the only place, like, I'll actually listen to full albums. And if it happens to be an album I like, I'll look for it in, whether it's MP3, whether it's vinyl or CD. That's why I like it. Also allows me to listen to albums and bands who I've really wanted to listen to, but I'm not going to go out and fully, pay for it. Like the Ventures. One of the guys died. We talked about last week. Okay, well, I want to hear them. I haven't listened to them in a while. Stuff like that.
So one of the advantage or disadvantage, depending on how you look at it, is about listening to all songs on an album is you get used to the sequence of songs. And even to this day, for me, a song will come on and, it'll end and I expect the next song, maybe Beatles or whatever. Yeah. I expect the next song in a row and all of a sudden it doesn't happen. They throw some other strange piece of music on after it. And I kind of go, wait, you can't do that. But, I don't think youth these days, the Utes out there, have any appreciation for the fact you just sit down and you listen to a whole album. I doubt it.
Because you go
prove me wrong out there.
You go from listening to Yellow Submarine to a Yoko Ono
no,
song.
But even that's at least got to, you could go from Yellow Submarine to Eminem or something. Then that would be a very odd combination.
To be honest, I'd rather listen to Eminem. I hate Yellow Submarine with a passion. It's such a dumb song. But no, you're right.
Hey, it was a period of time, buddy. It's a period of time. They had to be there.
The colors, man, the colors. Yeah, that's true. I mean, as somebody who listened to, I listened to Kid Rock's first album. I'm a Kid Rock fan, always have been, more or less. And so I was listening to one of them albums, and it's been a long time since I've actually sat down and listened to a full album. It's like, man, I kind of miss that experience a little. Actually, my favorite album to listen to is Days of Future Past. If you ever have a time just to sit and listen to a whole Moody Blues album, and it's such a fun album to listen to, especially if you're just kind of chilling, spacing out. It's fun. So something.
James's comment is, Okay.
Or you can smoke. Okay. So here's something I thought was going to happen a lot earlier. This is for James because I don't know if my dad has ever heard of it. American McGee's Alice, a gothic horror in Wonderland, now gets a TV adaptation. Now,
yeah, I haven't heard of this. Yeah.
Now, American McGee's Alice was a video game back in the day that I originally played on PC. Basically, more it is the quick backstory is it's Alice. Unlike anything you ever heard, it is a true gothic horror telling of basically it's a drug trip, without what the book was basically. But one of the darkest and most inventive video games of all time was finally being adapted for the screen. American McGee's Alice is a gothic interpretation of Alice in Wonderland from EA Games and visionary creator American McGee. According to the TV adaptation, will begin after Alice returns from the trip to the Looking Glass to her house burnt down and her parents have died in the fire. Alice is the only survivor of the terrible accident. After repeated attempts at suicide, she gets locked up inside a mental institution, slowly wasting away there before she is summoned to Wonderland again by the White Rabbit. And I'm not talking about Trinity from The Matrix.
So
I'm excited.
Yeah, it looks good, but I still want to know who's doing it. That's what I want to know. I want to know who the director is, who's going to be put, that's what I want to know. Because, it can be really badly done. I don't know if you heard, but there's a bunch of people getting upset by the look of Cortana from Halo. And I'm like, people just need to chill out.
Is that, you talk about the live action trailer? Because I haven't yet seen that.
Yeah, I guess it came out yesterday during a football game, and I'm like, okay. But there was people getting upset about it, and I'm like, just shut up and just watch the show. I understand you wanted Cortana to look a certain way. That's great, but not everyone's going to do that shit for you. So that's kind of what I'm at with this one, too, is like, I just will wait and see. I'm curious who they're going to have directing it. There's a few I'd like to, but, I mean, they can always screw it up. Like The Wheel of Time. That one's like, I'm not that caught up in the books. I haven't read them all. But that one, they went a really weird route even from me just reading the first two books.
It's funny you say that. The only issue I've heard people have about Wheel of Time is the deviation from the story. Like somebody,
it's all cattywampus.
Yeah, somebody was saying how they're changing characters around. One reviewer I read said it was offensive on how they're doing it, like completely changing characters, for no reason besides it's the woke way to tell a story.
Not having read the books or whatever they may be, Wheel of Time. So I am watching the series. I guess it is considered a series.
Yeah.
I'm coming up on season 2. It's not all that great. I mean, it's okay because I'm looking for time to kill things or things to kill time or whatever it may be. I sit there and I watch something for a while and whatever it may be. So I've been watching it. I mean, it's all right. It's not worth getting your panties in a bunch simply because it's not following the book.
Well, Jeff Michael, rest in peace. That was one of his favorite book series of all time. Our former co-host for Real Flicks Reviews, and he's the one person when I heard about it. Them doing a TV series, like, man, I wish he was alive because I would have loved to hear him vent. He loved those books.
Okay, well, so I mean, if you're a real fan of that thing, I can see that.
So Jeff Michael, if I remember correctly, said he thought Wheel of Time was better than Lord of the Rings. He said it was more in depth and, such and such. And I couldn't get past the first book, to be completely honest. So I have no idea if it is that lore intensive. So if anybody out there has actually read the books all the way through, is it as lore intensive as Lord of the Rings? Because there's more backstory in Lord of the Rings than there is story. There's people who call themselves like Tolkien experts, and there's a subreddit all about histories that talk about people in the books. It's amazing. Mm-hmm. Everybody's favorite WKRP in Cincinnati star passed away.
That's my story.
Okay.
Howard Hesseman from WKRP in Cincinnati. Can't even talk.
We did a lightning round of celebrity deaths, and it's like this is
was this one that hit him? Because I know I heard last week's show that I wasn't on, unfortunately. But so I think this happened last weekend or this weekend. I did hear that it was because it was from complications. The colon surgery.
From colon surgery. Yeah. It's like, man, that sucks.
It was 81, so that I'm at the stage where I'm not going to call that a great run as I approach those numbers down the road. But yeah, but he did it. Did you guys, either of you, get to watch that TV series at all?
I did. I watched it quite often. I love that show.
It was so funny.
It was hilarious.
He played Johnny Fever.
So I've watched episodes. I actually been trying to find it online. So, by the way, if you know where to see it online, like I don't have Hulu, but if anybody can point me to where actually seeing it, because I've wanted to watch more than just a bunch of disconjointed episodes.
It's great. I'm looking at this picture of him. He's sitting at his DJ station there, and he's got his mic going, and he's got his 2 record players and little mixers and a red label phone, which we never had. I don't know about a red labeled phone. It's like hotline to the White House and a radio station. But in the background, he's got. I used to try to explain what a cart machine was to Jonathan.
Well, they're basically fancy 8-tracks.
Anyway, yeah. There's actually in the background from him is actually a cart machine player, and that's almost all the way your commercials used to be played.
So I got a shout out to a YouTube channel. It's a British guy. His YouTube channel is Techmoan, TECHMOAN, and he actually had a cart machine. It was from a radio station. Got a bunch of carts, and he was explaining how it worked, and it was really amazing. So if you want to go more in depth than that, check out Techmoan, because that was totally cool. And
Yeah,
he had
yeah.
some actual carts from a radio station. They weren't deleted, so it had all the spots and
That's great,
and
yeah.
the call outs and stuff.
Yeah, we used to do that for radio. All the spots were on it. News briefs, breaks, whatever. Sometimes were put on them. Commercials are all put on them.
And I think he was talking about like how songs were put on it. Like you could put like a so many block of a song, put it in, push play. Saying a lot of guys would go to the bathroom, come back, stuff like that. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, no, it was real handy at the time.
So one of my favorite old time TV shows to repost one of their little things is their. So do you remember the episode where they did the turkey drop?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I love doing that, putting that clip on for Thanksgiving every year. Just resharing that one because that was just
Well, that's supposed to drop live turkeys. It was pretty funny. It's
it
good.
was a great show. They did a lot of funny stuff in that show, and I enjoyed that one.
Yeah, it was good. It was a good show, good TV show. It's hard to get. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I'm finding general TV not to be anywhere near as humorous. Although the newest one that I saw, which is for me, it's got humor, is a TV show called Ghosts. I don't know if you guys have gotten.
Oh, I saw that one. I haven't sat down and watched it yet.
Yeah,
and John, it appears that WKRP is on Apple TV.
I wonder if I'd probably have to pay for it. I'll have to take a look. Now I'm kind of curious.
Well, there you go. Take a look.
So that's what I just found on Google. Is they're saying it's on Apple TV. Someone says no. I don't know. Yeah, you'd have to pay for it on Amazon. So yeah, but it's on there. You got to look for it.
So Howard Hesseman, Hessman, a character actor, influential improv comedy performer, best known for his role as disc jockey Johnny Fever on WKRP in Cincinnati, has died from complications related to colon surgery. The news was confirmed by his wife, Caroline. Hesseman was 81. Still, to my opinion, is still young considering now that I'm 40. But, the one thing that surprised me is I think I just read that he was one of the founders of the Chicago Second City Group. Born in Oregon in 1940, Hesseman joined a San Francisco-based improv group called The Committee in the 60s, when the original founding members of some of the whom were veterans of Chicago's Second City Group. If you haven't heard of the Second City Group, take a look. They're fairly famous. So I did want to talk about something. About the Rogan thing.
We're going to talk about Joe.
Well, just the periphery of the way I like. One of the reasons I like Joe Rogan is he has people on, whether he agrees with them or not, and just has a conversation. His talent, really, in my opinion, is he lets people talk. If you look at the interview he recently did with Jordan Peterson, most of it is him listening. And he's getting a lot of crap for being allegedly anti-vax, which he's never said he was in the first place.
Oh, well, I did see a clip with him that basically said, hey, if you're young and you're healthy and you're eating right and you're exercising, you don't need to take the vaccine. I saw the clip.
Because at the time, I'll be honest, you're right. But he wasn't far off from wrong at the time. Is he was saying that a lot of people who are super healthy, like all these Division I athletes, who are like super healthy, such and such. But
I don't want to discuss vaccine with you.
But I'm not. But I'm not getting into that. What I'm getting to is the fact that because he was basically came down to Rogan being for in treatment. He even said he was actually going to get the Johnson & Johnson vaccine too at some point before something happened. He said this recently with a conversation with Tim Dillon. But the issue I have is the way they're attacking him. I don't like the fact that it's like, oh, he's spreading information, we need to cancel him. You have the ancient hippie folk artist. I refuse to call him a rocker because that's an insult to rock music, calling Neil Young a rocker. I don't know. I just don't like that. I never liked it when you had liberals go after Rush Limbaugh, I never liked it when people were going after what's his name? The New York shock jock.
Howard Stern.
Howard Stern. I don't like that. If you don't like what somebody's saying, don't listen.
Well, I don't disagree with you as far as the way he's being attacked. I mean,
What do you think, John?
the way he's being attacked, simply because. All right, so all these are, well, I'm going to pull my music from Spotify because I don't like what you're saying. Heck with the First Amendment and your right to say whatever. I don't want it said on the same network that I'm going to be on. And wah, 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 wah. And it's like, there's an easy solution to that. Tell your fans not to listen to him. Plain and simple. Done. If you really feel that strong and you want to, voice your opinion as to, I'm sorry, he can't talk like that. He can't say that. I mean,
I even disagree with that, Rob. I would go to the point of saying, here's the reasons why I don't listen to him. And it's your choice. Instead of just telling your fans, don't listen to this guy, just say, I can't stand by Joe Rogan for this reason. This is the information I have.
Or what I believe.
Yeah. Your own decision.
I agree. I don't disagree with that.
Way,
yes.
That's a more mature way than just being like, no, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to take all my stuff and I'm going to go running away. I'm taking my toys and I'm not playing with you anymore.
Exactly. No, you're absolutely right.
That's exactly what I hear.
Yeah. You're right. Absolutely.
So,
what pissed me
even to say, hold on, John, settle yourself down, sit in your chair.
No.
Anyways, but to even say to your fans, don't listen to Joe Rogan, which I'm not saying that's all you were saying. I'm just saying that to me, I think it would be more mature to say, I don't listen to him. These are the reasons why. This is the information I have. Or to actually go to Joe Rogan and say, hey, how about I come on your show and we discuss this like adults?
100%. The thing that makes me mad is Mr. Hippie himself from the age of Aquarius was from a generation where they were all about knowledge and LSD. But, that's what pisses me off the most is the fact you have this guy who's supposedly about talking and free speech and all this. Then all of a sudden he gets, he gets his knickers in a twist and says, he's spreading false information. You can't do this. It's like, hold your roll, man. This is not what you were about. This was not what the hippies were about. How about actually sit down, sit in a drum circle, hold your crystals, and have a fucking conversation?
Yeah, no, and I think James is right. I mean, if he felt so strongly about it, he could have come out simply and said, this is why I don't like what he's saying. I don't believe what he's saying. This is my opinion. But instead, I'm going to hold Spotify to the fire and say, no, unless you get rid of Joe Rogan, I'm going to pull my music. And it's like Spotify's just.
So you want to hear what my my conspiracy theory is?
What's that?
First of all, he sold 50% of his catalog rights to another entity. So technically, they could have forced the issue to some degree since he doesn't have 100% rights. Secondly, I think this is more about the fact that he wasn't earning anything from Spotify, and I think this was kind of his way to, to try to show it to the man in some sort of weird communist
You know what?
way.
I'll go even further in a sense that I'll say, I bet that Neil Young didn't even know about Joe Rogan's podcast or cared about his podcast. And simply some friend or some assistant or some manager, hey, did you know this Joe Rogan guy is doing this and this? I think we ought to boycott and pull your songs, and that's probably what happened, just to be honest with you. It's my feeling.
Yeah, I can't see. I could see it being if he was a fan of Joe Rogan, and then all of a sudden being like, okay, it's taking a turn. But it's like somebody, I'll just use the analogy of another shock jock, of Howard Stern. Like somebody who doesn't like his stuff, doesn't even listen to his stuff, but all of a sudden stands up and says, we can't have that anymore. That needs to be pulled off, which happened to Howard Stern quite often. But that's kind of how I view it is like he's looking at Joe Rogan, who I highly doubt he's ever listened to anything Joe Rogan has even said. I doubt he's even listened to to the show that he's all got his panties up in a bunch about. I doubt he's listened to the entire thing, maybe just clips of it that he read,
Right.
or something, and got all upset about it. And I'm like, this is not how you protest something.
Mm-hmm.
If somebody says something you don't like, as you said earlier, don't listen to him. Yeah. Make it your own choice to boycott him instead of throwing a fit and saying, I'm pulling all my music off. And honestly, I don't care if Neil Young removes his music off there. I don't listen to Spotify for one. And I highly doubt there's like a huge enough fan base on Spotify that is like, oh my God, Neil Young removed his music. Now I can't listen to him on there.
I got one better for you.
I guarantee most of the people who like Neil Young enough to really care have all his damn albums at home.
I got one better for you. Joni Mitchell also pulled all her stuff, and I bet everybody was like, who the fuck is that?
Or Simon, Carly Simon did the same thing.
Yeah, talk about inside baseball of 60s hippies.
All right. It's my generation. Cut it out.
But let's be honest. You have to be. You were never into that type of music, Mr.
Not Neil,
or Joni Mitchell.
No, I like some of Joni's songs.
Some.
No, not all of them, but I don't like everybody. I can't think of a band that I like every one of their songs.
What I'm saying is they're kind of inside baseball of 60s music. They weren't. Well, Neil Young is prolific in certain ways. He's not one of these. He's not a Beatles. He's not Moody Blues. He's not somebody who's really cross-generational, even though he does have songs that are good. But you wouldn't really call him, he wouldn't be on the Mount Rushmore of 60s music. Not in my opinion, at least.
Right. I can't disagree with you.
That's, and then you got Joni Mitchell and the other chick. It's like, I don't know. It really pissed me off hearing that. Just, there's no reason to do it. If you don't like it, I don't know. I was really pissed. The dude's
well, Joe Rogan has a huge fan base, so I can't see Spotify removing him easily at all.
Let's be honest with Joe Rogan. I guarantee if they fired him off of there, he could do a pay to play scheme, and he would probably make money at it.
Well, the other thing to look at it, if you're Spotify and you are taking ad revenue. And what is the demographics of the ad revenue that you're taking from? And most of the time, when you look at it, it's certainly going to be younger people listening to Joe Rogan than us older people listening to Neil Young.
I was going to say, so you're saying that
I like Neil Young. You guys can talk shit about him.
I don't like him anymore.
Are you saying there's not enough people listening to Joni Mitchell and Neil Young compared to all the young people listening to Joe
Rogan? Yeah, I would probably say that. I mean, it's going to be a sad thing, but the fact is, as you mentioned by starting out, is who the heck is Neil Young? Right. For a lot of the younger people aren't going to know that. I can almost guarantee it.
Anyways,
or at Sweet Caroline. I mean, wonderful gal.
John.
Yes.
Did you hear about the Rankin and Bass 1982, The Last Unicorn, and what they're going to do with it? No?
No.
He's sitting there thinking.
I haven't. What are they going to do with it?
So it is being adapted for, guess what?
What?
An on-stage musical and a live-action film.
Okay, first of all, if so, as a guy
that sigh you let out says it all.
As a guy who's a giant fan of animation, one of the reasons I like that cartoon is the style it's drawn in. So if you're going to talk about
I thought it was the pink unicorn.
If you're going to talk about the plot and the story, it's a pip fart and a snare drum compared to the actual 70s style. The style to me is more important than the fucking story. I don't understand. I'm confused. It makes no sense. But hey, if it's what you're into, on the other hand, if it gets the surviving members of America another payday, I'm for it.
Yeah, but can you really imagine that ever becoming live action. That's where I'm struggling.
Oh,
How the hell are you going to do a musical, an on-stage musical, and then on top of that, a live action film? How?
Well, look at Disney. Since they can't, since they're having issues re-releasing their older stuff because of controversies, let's just make new ones.
Yeah, but I mean, I just don't understand how they're going to do it.
Honestly, this is the issue I've had from the beginning. Anytime you go from animation to live action, it doesn't translate. Now, Disney's done a particular better job than any time in history, but it doesn't cross-pollinate well. Because the mediums aren't interchangeable. Animation leads you to suspending your disbelief because it's a cartoon versus live action. I don't know, man. It's going to be awful. I'll watch it just to see how bad it is.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
I don't even think I want to do that. Because, I mean, I'm not the biggest, Last Unicorn fan. I do appreciate it. I do like it. And I am also a big fan of America. But, I just don't want to do that because, In Living Color hated it. Crap on it because I'm just going to be like, this is just freaking terrible. Why would I waste my time to sit there and say how terrible a film is when I know it's going to be? And there is no way I'm watching that musical.
I don't like musicals to begin with, so there's no chance I'm going to watch it. However, seeing it in a play would be kind of amusing, especially if I got to drink it along with it. I don't know. I don't see. Seriously, The Last Unicorn, the musical. All the songs are sung by the fucking band America, who are ancient by now. How exactly are you making that cartoon into a musical?
I don't know.
There's a horse with no name out there somewhere.
Shades.
No, but a unicorn. But
it'll probably be off Ventura Highway somewhere. Oh man, I'm
sorry, I couldn't help that.
I forgive you.
Yeah.
I don't get it, but that's hilarious.
Hey, another big death that's occurred here. Did you hear that New Jersey's weather predicting groundhog Milton? He died the day before his big reveal.
Was that Punxsutawney Phil? I mean,
no, Punxsutawney Phil was another groundhog. He's also dead.
Oh, okay.
But this is Milton from New Jersey. I'm sorry, Milton could not come out to predict if winter is going to continue. He died.
Is it bad that my only thought was, "Hey, I'm dying here"?
Oh, I'm
proof that people are dying to get out of Jersey.
Pete is going to get back at me for that one.
Nah, they kill 90% of their animals anyways.
You tell him. I'm sorry. It was a headline that popped up. I just had to read it off there. It struck me as very funny.
So we do have this awesome, amazing, wonderful sponsor for you to listen to. Today's show is brought to you by Audacity, the game where dignity is overrated. Go to ODDASSITY.com. That's ODDASSITY.com. Pick up a card game from this website or selected stores. That's Audacity, the unforgettable party game for mischievous people. And let's throw a ticker tape parade because Audacity gave us 10% off your final order when you use MadTrio, all caps, all one word on Audacity.com. And when you buy an order, make sure you tell them that you heard that you
make sure you tell them.
I'm pretty sure this is going to be an Audacity card to see if you can make it through this spot.
That's right.
Make sure
John read his lines here.
Make sure you tell Miss Audacity the MadTrio sent you. Now I know Rob has a listicle.
I have some things that I brought up that I thought were, as I was tripping along the interwebs looking for things to talk about.
Which is
show.
Hilarious, a guy who was from the 60s.
Hey, so I came across things that you won't believe that are banned in the U.S. through different states, let's just put it that way. And I came across a few of them that I thought were pretty interesting. The list was actually quite long. There were quite a few in there. So one of the ones, since we're kind of on the internet here, one of the ones that cracked me up a lot was in Florida. There's no internet cafes. In 2013, Florida Governor Rick Scott signed into law House Bill 155, which aimed at cracking down on illegal gambling on internet cafes. So they closed them down. Way to go, Florida! Let's keep things going for those who can't afford devices and depend on such things as internet cafes and libraries to go.
Sherman set the Wayback Machine in 1998. What the fuck's an internet cafe? I haven't seen one of those.
I guess they're still around. I understand from reading some research on that many people that can't afford the full connectivity or smartphones or whatever, they still use them. And then you can go in, get a cup of coffee if you can, and play on a computer for 20 minutes, and off you go.
Wow. The last time I saw one was in the movie The Jackal.
How about that? So, Arizona, no camel hunting.
We talk about the toes or the whole camel?
No, the whole animal. So in Arizona, the hunting of camels is prohibited. Well, it seems a little nonsensical law. Camels aren't exactly native to Arizona. There's actually a logical reason for it. Pre-Civil War, the U.S. Army experimented with camels in the Arizona desert before eventually giving up the project, although apparently there are remaining camels that were set free to this day, still roaming around in the Arizona desert. Can you imagine just waking up out of a stupor and you're dying of thirst, you wake up and there's camel standing over you. All of a sudden you want to know how you got from Arizona to Saudi Arabia or something.
If I'm in the middle of the desert, no, I wouldn't be surprised because my ass would be hallucinating. It's like, okay, this makes sense.
Yeah. Arkansas's got one too. It's kind of interesting. It says no honking your horn in front of a sandwich shop.
What?
Yeah. So no honking your horn in front of a sandwich shop. Little Rock, Arkansas, after 9 p.m., it's illegal to honk your horn in front of a sandwich shop. So please be patient at the drive-thru. No honking.
I'll take random laws for 9,000, Alex.
Connecticut has one for all those lovers of you out there. Sunday nights are out. You're done. It says they're kissing on Sundays. If you live in Hartford, Connecticut, you might want to avoid Sunday night dates with your spouse. It's illegal for a man to kiss his wife on Sundays.
Coitus is fine. It's not kissing. Is it in public or private? I'm kind of like,
just kissing at all. You can't.
I'm kind of confused that. Like, how would they even know if you did it?
Well, I guess you'd have to turn yourself in. Or better yet, if you don't like your spouse, you go, my wife kissed me, it was on Sunday, lock her up.
Reminds me of some of those laws in the South that said no backdoor action. I was like, how exactly are you detecting this?
Well, speaking of backdoor actions, Georgia's got one. Says here you can't buy sex toys in Georgia. It's illegal to buy sex toys in Sandy Springs, Georgia in particular. An ordinance in the book specifically provides that any device designed or marketed as useful primary for the stimulations of human genital organs is obscene material. And therefore prohibited.
Yet there's stores that sell back massagers. It's just like my favorite.
That's a back massager, not your front massager.
Like my favorite story revolving that type of law is they're going to a head shop and you see, hey, what are these? They look like crack pipes. No, they're oil burners. Or, hey, why does that gas mask have a pipe thing on it? Is that for smoking weed? No, man, that's for tobacco. It's like, that's a heavy duty user. You're taking hits off a bong rip.
Indiana has one that says you can't shoot fish in a barrel.
You can't shoot them in general or certain caliber or?
Well, it's something as easy. You might say it's like shooting a fish in a barrel, but it's clearly you haven't been fishing in Indiana. Well, shooting fish is illegal, as is catching them with your bare hands. So not only can't you shoot them in a barrel, you can't catch them with your hands. I'm telling you, some of these were pretty crazy.
That's I want to know. I think if you can catch a fish by your bare hand, you should be able to keep that fish. That's damn talented. You got gorilla hands, but
I don't know. Kind of interesting. Some of these were, like, I guess in Hawaii you can't text and walk.
I know a lot of people who can't.
In Hawaii, a ban on pedestrians.
Pedestrians? Didn't Europe hire those for mercenaries back in the day?
Like walking pedophiles?
Yeah, I guess so. crack myself up here.
By the way, I know a lot of people who cannot walk and text at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, look at your mobile phones or texting while crossing the street. Took an effect in Honolulu, Hawaii earlier this year. It's a $15 fine. I guess too many people walking into signs and poles and other people.
And cars.
Or cars.
Or...
All right, you guys are in trouble for this one. In Idaho, you can't be in the same house as someone who's smoking pot.
Wait. So like, is this somebody who goes outside to smoke, or just like somebody who's a user?
Use is still illegal in many states, but in Idaho, you can't even be in the same house as someone who's indulging. If you're caught in the premises where marijuana is being used, you can be fined up to $300 and sentenced up to 90 days in jail or both.
Well, fuck. That's hilarious.
Idaho, I guess, is serious about their marijuana stuff.
So what happens if both people are smoking marijuana? Will they both go to jail for the same crime plus holding?
Probably. They both get crossed or things sent to you. You're both in the same house, so you're both getting this fine.
That's hilarious.
Here's for your future possible home down in Kentucky. No selling Easter bunnies. So there goes your wife's sideline. She can't sell Easter bunnies anymore.
Well, it never said they had to have heads. They're not a bunny. It's the back end.
So it's illegal to sell baby bunnies whose fur has been dyed. So they go even further. So not only that, you can't dye your baby bunny either. It's a $500 fine. It's more expensive than going to Idaho and supposed to be in the same house as somebody smoking pot. They're serious there.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Anything illegal in Kansas?
I'm sure there is. Hold on. So Michigan has no peeing in public.
Paris needs that.
Yeah, no kidding.
Hey, what's that? Oh. Matter of fact, San Francisco, Los Angeles,
yeah, I was going to say just about any place now with homeless encampments. New Mexico's got one's really good. No voting for idiots.
Well, I guess nobody can vote. I guess there's no voting.
Having a good friend living in New Mexico. Other than that, I would say something about anybody who lives in New Mexico. But so you can't vote if you're an idiot. Specifically, New Mexico state constitution provides every U.S. citizen who has resided in New Mexico for 12 months and the counting of 90 days shall be required to vote in all elections of public office, with the exception of idiots. Yeah. As well as insane persons. So, and we know if they're all voting Democratic, they're both idiots and insane. Oh, did I just say that?
Ladies and gentlemen, the MadTrio Real Flicks Reviews, an old guy tech TV does not agree or disagree with the statement of the old guy, as obviously he's having an old guy moment.
Hey, that's my right as an old guy.
It is.
So in New York, there's no drinking before the brunch hour.
What's brunch?
Breakfast and lunch. It's the pre-meal to lunch and the post-meal from breakfast.
Okay, so you can.
You didn't know that? James, educate your friend.
You've never heard of brunch?
I
don't even know what to say to him. I'm like, it's a mix of breakfast and lunch. That's why it's called brunch.
I have never
breakfast, lunch.
I know this is what an adult male really wants to do. I know, honey. Let's have brunch. That's right. I'm really that cutesy to use that term.
Hey, that's where mimosas came up from.
I'm also not an alcoholic. So.
Well, I understand that, but you got to understand that people that, they wanted their lunch and their breakfast, they mixed orange juice and vodka.
If I really wanted a drink with my breakfast, I would have a beer with breakfast. I don't understand this cutesy name. It's like Brenner. What'd you have for dinner? I had Brenner. I mean, come on. We can stop these cutesy names already.
So I saw, my guess also is that what happens if you're a bar that's open until I don't know what time bars have to close down in New York, but there's places where they don't close down until 6 a.m. and then they open back up at 7. There's a law in the books that says you have to be closed down for an hour.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, serious.
They got to clean up.
So North Carolina it's just no crimes against nature. I'm not going to go any further with that one.
Wait, no, I want to hear more. No crimes against nature.
Yeah, North Carolina prohibits all crimes against nature. What are crimes against nature? You might ask. Well, for starters, it can include consensual sex between two people.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sex between two people are
against nature to have sex between two people.
I don't know why it's not naturist.
If you had sex between you and a goat or an animal, but
Yeah.
That's another human being. I mean, was it non-consensual sex?
The law doesn't go any further than that. Yeah. So
All right, so
I guess
talking about these laws. Hold on, Rob. So there was a while back, I looked into getting something referred to as a governator, and what it is it's not a projectile, but it's a retractable spike that's about the size of a pen, and it's spring loaded, but you can push it. It puts out a spike that is strong and reinforced, so you can smash things with it, or stab somebody with it, I guess. Anyways, I was looking into California laws to see if it was something legal that I could carry in California. So I'm reading the law, and in the law, this is the wording of it. It is illegal to carry a lead-weighted dildo in California. The wording actually says lead-weighted dildo.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, when was this an issue in California? Were we having random attacks of people getting beat up with lead-weighted dildos that I had no idea about?
I, however, been to San Francisco. I could totally see some gay dude being really pissed off at somebody just whacking him with one.
Nothing surprises me in California anymore. So I'm sure that's not even a new law. They've been passing stupid ass laws in this state since the state was
It's been around since the 1920s, right?
Yeah, there you go. So, yeah.
Suit riots,
That's just crazy.
I still think that's funny.
Yeah, I mean, I could do a whole episode just on California laws. If I wanted to spend enough hours studying them all.
I did want to say, going back to the last one, I'd love to see two people in a jail cell. So what'd you do? What'd you commit? A crime against nature.
Yeah. What was that crime? My wife and I had sex. It's like, what? Well, have you seen my wife?
Hey.
Oh, Groucho's Marx came out in me. What? I'm sorry.
No, I'm just glad I didn't say it. I was going to say, that. No, I'm not going to say that, actually.
She might listen to the podcast.
I'm not going to talk about my wife.
Yeah, I've had we got into. So Oregon's got one that's interesting. You can't pee into a bottle.
What?
Yeah. No peeing in bottles, so you can't take a road trip in Oregon.
I mean, is this like a thing about recycling? That's why.
Yeah, it's about how you dispose of the waste. That's it's Oregon. It's worse than California in some respects.
So, can you pee into a bottle and then dump it out and give it to somebody?
Well, I guess you could probably go to a urinal or a toilet and throw it in there and flush it, but it just doesn't. If you're caught by the Oregon State Troopers peeing into a bottle, into the slammer you go, which would probably you have to pee into a bottle there to be tested to see if you're under drugs. So they're breaking their own laws.
Wait, you go to jail for it?
I doubt it.
That would be another hilarious one. What would you do, man? Well, I pee in a bottle. I do it all the time at home.
Oh, God. What? Oh, remind me of an uncle.
No, that wasn't I wasn't expecting.
I'm sorry.
That's hilarious.
So if Ohio's got an interesting law. No arrests on Sunday. So apparently commit any crime you want on a Sunday in Oregon and they can't arrest you. I don't understand that.
Well, that's California. That's every day.
Or the 4th of July or during a session of the state Congress. What? That probably goes back to 1780. Ohio. North Dakota, I'll just read the headline with it. North Dakota, no sex with birds.
That's a big fucking bird. That's all I'm saying.
Hey, have you seen some of those chickens?
Jeez. Chickens are fucking vicious, man. I don't want to see that.
So yeah, definitely don't try to fuck a rooster either.
No, you don't want to make a mistake between those two. How about... So since we talked about North Dakota, let's talk about South Dakota. No causing static.
What?
Just like static electricity.
I mean, is this like a radio thing? That's why they're saying it. Like on the radio causing static?
Or it's for big dryer sheet.
No one likes static cling, but in South Dakota, the anti-static sediment can only be described as epic. In fact, it's against the law to cause static in a municipality of Huron, South Dakota. It's important to note that some sort of static this law refers to is not the kind that makes your hair stand on end, but the kind that makes crackling noises and snow on your television. Okay. Wow. Well, I told you some more were interesting.
That's hilarious.
All right, you guys, I know you guys are on trouble now if you were in Tennessee. No sharing your Netflix passwords.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about either. What you talking about, Willis?
I knew it. The bill was put in effect starting in 2011. Tennessee Governor Bill Haslam signed into the law. Law is mainly targeted at hackers who steal and then sell login information.
Another guy who doesn't know how the tubes work.
Well, not only that, if you're selling this information, how's that sharing?
Like I said.
Isn't that two different things?
Got a point.
I just kind of went,
No,
okay,
officer,
just got that one.
No, officer, I'm not selling. He's giving me this money, and I'm just giving him a password.
So Utah's got this thing against immigrants. No booze for immigrants.
Wait, Utah is special anyways.
Utah
Don't you
is
have
special? Yeah, they're special.
Well, don't they have alcohol stores?
Yeah. Well, so does a couple of East Coast states, but we'll go there.
And
a state that already has many arcane alcohol-related laws in the books. Governor Gray Herbert recently upped the ante by signing a law, House Bill 155, which prohibits recent immigrants, those who have been here for less than 2 years, from driving with even a drop of alcohol in their blood. Okay.
All right.
Vermont's got a good one, though. I like Vermont. Vermont is got a law in there. It says you can't have apple pie without ice cream. You can't go in a store and order just apple pie. It's got to come with either a piece of cheese, a slice of cheddar cheese, or a glass of milk, or a scoop of vanilla ice cream.
So it's the Alamode law.
I guess. Alamode. Vermont Alamode.
That's hilarious.
Virginia's got a good one too, though, during Halloween. You can't go trick-or-treating if you're older than 12. That one I'm for. I remember people coming to the door that were 30 trick-or-treating. I thought maybe that was a little old.
You know what? I'm 100% for. I swear I haven't been drinking, officer. If you're 30 and you want to go trick or treating, I'm 100% for it. Go ahead.
All right, the state of Washington. We'll wrap up on this one. Was way in advance of COVID. It says Washington, you with a code. If you got a cold, not a code, a cold, or other contagious disease, don't walk around in public in the state of Washington, where every person who shall willfully expose himself or herself to another in any public place or thoroughfare, except upon his or her or his necessary removal in a manner not dangerous to the public health.
This is Washington State?
Mm-hmm.
So they really had a stay-at-home order for COVID.
Yeah, they really did, huh? Jeez. Oh, I'll wrap. There's one more. This is a good one. In Virginia, West Virginia, because I guess Virginia doesn't care. No dueling if you're planning on running for office. There's been some historical fact for that, and I won't go any further, but you can't duel in West Virginia.
Now, is this real life or is this virtual? So
I'm assuming it's real life.
So
John.
if James gets an Oculus Quest and I have an Oculus Quest and we duel via Oculus, is it no Aaron Burr? I mean, I need some.
You might have to write them and get, hey, I need clarification of this because otherwise I can't play Oculus Quest with one of my friends.
Right. I can't kick James's ass in Halo.
You can. Try.
No.
I don't know.
You can try.
So
I got the new Halo when I was playing.
Why are they making a live action movie of Halo?
TV show.
Why are they making a live action TV show of Halo?
Because it's really good.
It's because it's an interesting story.
Tony Romo on the football game on Sunday. I guess the commercial for it came out, and he wasn't really paying attention. He was doing getting ready to do his color commentating, and he heard Halo live action coming soon. He went, live action. Halo's a game. What do you mean? It was really funny. He got totally blindsided by that one line.
So there's a history by this. You want to know some history?
Oh, sure. Give me the history, because I got to have stuff that you guys could talk about.
Sherman, hit the Wayback Machine. There was actually going to be a movie at one point in time that was going to be directed and or produced by the guy who did Lord of the Rings, Peter Jackson.
That guy.
He was going to be involved in the movie, and a bunch of shenanigans happened. And allegedly, because the main character is Master Chief, and he's wearing his armor Mjolnir the whole time. And so you don't see his face. And originally everybody's argument about being against this is, well, you have to see the actor's face. So yeah, it really is an interesting story.
Sorry.
This is coming from the old guy who thought Pong was an amazing thing. Let's be honest.
Hey, at the time it was an amazing thing. Now, today, not so much.
But no, Halo's an interesting story. I don't see how this will survive a couple of seasons.
Well, it's not SEAL Team, so.
But I don't. It'll be interesting to see. The biggest issue is
I'll watch it, but the heck, I like action stuff.
The biggest issue is video games traditionally have not translated well to any sort of live action thing. Particularly,
I could see this one doing it because there's so much story along with it, instead of a video game with just like no story written for it.
Well, the one game like that I would have said would have made it that didn't was Wing Commander. Granted, that movie was directed by Uwe Boll, a man who couldn't direct his way out of a wet paper bag if somebody held an end open. But I hope so. I mean, Microsoft's got to be throwing enough money at it.
Yeah, that probably answers my question. So,
because by the way, Sony bought Bungie.
Okay.
If you don't know who Bungie is, they actually created Halo. Microsoft spun them off, and now they're they created the game Destiny and Destiny 2. It was interesting.
Destiny's Child? Oh, wrong.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was going to say, hit me baby one more time, because I don't know any of the actual of their songs. So Congresswoman sold up to 15K of Activision Blizzard stock on the day of acquisition. Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene is one of the many stockholders looking to take advantage of the deal between Microsoft and Activision Blizzard. This is published January 21st, 2022.
No inside information in that one. It just was a coincidence. I had the sell order in with my broker and just went ahead and sold it. Just happened to be right at the right time.
That could be true, considering Activision has been under a major shitstorm recently because of alleged sexual harassment. Well, the dust and fallout still haven't settled when it comes to Microsoft's takeover of Activision Blizzard. One thing is certain: there were several people who have made and will continue to make quite a bit of money out of the deal. Blizzard, if you don't know about it, they are the creators. I think they're the owners of World of Warcraft. And others, Activision is a giant company. I just thought that was interesting. Does anybody else have any stories? Well, hold on. We got one more sponsor.
Oh,
it's us.
It's us.
Do you want to keep up to date on the maddest of the mad at the MadTrio podcast? Check out our social media feeds on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, or go to themadtrio.com. And since we all haven't had a scary enough couple of years with the vid, got another news story for you from Medical News Today.
So you do have one more.
Antimicrobial resistance is not abstract threat lurking in the shadows. There is a broad consensus among scientists, healthcare professionals, and public health organizations that antimicrobial resistance is a prominent global threat. Robust data on the impact of antimicrobial resistance across the globe are needed to guide regional specific policies and programs. A new study provided that the comprehensive estimate of the impact of antimicrobial resistance bacteria across the globe. The author concludes that 1.27 million deaths in 2019 could be directly attributed to it. These results emphasize the need for collective global actions, such as developing new antibiotics, vaccines, improving surveillance of antimicrobial resistance. So all the motherfuckers giving their cattle and other things lots of antimicrobial medication is partially responsible for this.
It's all their fault.
It is. It's big meat.
Okay.
So antimicrobial resistance is antimicrobial resistance is one of the greatest threats to global public health, according to the WHO, everybody's favorite organization run by China. This is because the emergency of bacteria species resistant to antimicrobial drugs makes it harder to treat some infections. It also threatens safety of surgery, chemotherapy, and other treatments. One study predicts the antimicrobial resistance could result in 10 million deaths annually by 2050. I don't know if this is a bigger threat than they're saying, especially with some of the new technologies, but it is something I've been hearing for the last 30 years. And it is really hard now compared to when I was younger, and definitely compared to when the old guys was younger, to get, those drugs like Z-Packs and stuff. Because I've heard stories back in the day, people that you get antibiotics if you had a cold.
Oh yeah, they were dishing them out for everything under the sun. That's the whole idea of not taking antibiotics unless you really need them, and when they're going to be effective with what ails you. Just don't take them because you have a virus. It's not going to work. So, and if I end up in the hospital and end up with some kind of super bug, because that's generally where it spreads, I certainly want that antibiotic to be working.
I am curious to see what ends up happening, because this is something I've been for. I for a long time was like, that's hold back. Like, you don't have to give cattle all these antibiotics, like they're just blanketly giving them.
Well, you're absolutely right. And that's why you see, if you go shopping for, doesn't matter if it's chicken or poultry, the whole line of poultry or whatever it may be, you look at the labels, and many of them now are touting, no antibiotics at any time. And, so the whole idea is that you try to stop, because it was automatic with all animals.
Yeah.
To automatically give them antibiotics, and we were eating them. So quite possibly we're building up resistance to antibiotics.
The reason DDT was banned was because we the humans were getting it. So I could see them banning animals getting stuff unless they need it. Mm-hmm. The study authors assessed the role of antimicrobial resistance, the mortality rate, and disability in 204 countries and territories in 2019. They gathered data from multiple sources, including evidence from published studies, clinical trials, surveillance systems, diagnostic laboratories, and hospital systems. They used the data to create a model and subsequent estimate mortality and disability due to antimicrobial resistance of 23 bacteria species and 88 combinations of antimicrobial drugs and bacterial species. This is the interesting part. The researchers note that limited data was available from low-income nations. They stress the need for microbial testing infrastructure and surveillance systems to help track antimicrobial resistance. That was the one that was the most interesting, is the low-income nations.
Yeah.
So no, I just figured, since, we got in a high, you start as a low, got into a high. I wanted to end it on that low note. I don't know.
Thanks. Now we're all going to worry about taking an antibiotic, because it may not be needed.
So remember, all you have to do is just wash your hands, wear a mask. You'll be fine. Don't worry at all. Everything is going to be groovy. So, ladies and gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, for the California pariah, the fat man, and the old guy, and Ryan Preston, since I didn't say goodbye, do his outro last time, as always, thank you for listening.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.